Hey, and welcome back to another episode. Last month, I shared my story about the decision to retire and make a career switch. We then had a leaders' lunch where we talked about the book Switchers, where smart professionals learn how to make a career switch smartly. Then that was followed by a conversation with DJ Heflin on how to handle disruptions with his book Shifting Gears on the Crossroad. Lastly, Florian Kimmerick and I had a great discussion about how to find your alignment with your purpose and your career and your job, and all of that coming together with finding your vocation. And if you haven't watched those episodes, I would urge you to please go back and watch those episodes. You're going to learn a lot from DJ Heflin and also Florian Kimmerick on how to shift gears on the crossroads and how to find your vocation. They're a treasure trove of knowledge. So please go back and listen to those episodes and listen to those two incredibly brilliant individuals. But if you look at the sequencing of those episodes, it went from making a decision, contemplating the disruption that's going to occur, and then how to find your alignment and calling to get the most purpose out of your profession and your life, and not just find another job. Today is about the internal battle, the one that happens in your head and in your gut when someday becomes soon. If you're interested in learning how to turn mixed up feelings into a superpower for forward momentum, then this episode is for you. So after the decision was made, there was a lot of emotions that came with it. There was a sense of relief and happiness, and then followed by sadness. Then there was like this back and forth, somewhere in between happy, sad, nervous, and anxious, and anticipation moments, right? Then doubt and fear would creep in, and then moments of extreme delusion of, well, this is going to work out completely fine, and there's going to be no issues whatsoever. And the voices in the back of your mind that would whisper, you're making a poor choice. What are you doing? Or even, you're not even going to be able to make it. Nobody cares. If those sound similar, then we're going to be exploring what fear really is and why it feels so real, even when it's not. We're going to explore why anxiety drains you dry, we're going to look at how anticipation can fuel you instead of drain you, and a simple framework to shift from going from anxiety to anticipation and not being stuck. So you can walk away with the tools right now, today, to make that shift in your life. Now, for context, many folks out there view like this retirement, or in my case, like retirement career shift, as like this future, it's well off in the future. Like it's like 30, 40 years down the road, or 10 to 15 years down the road. And we're setting up plans now. And when it comes, we're going to be able to make the switch and we'll be completely fine with it. Well, that's not necessarily the case for everybody. And for me, I was completely logically fine with it until it became soon, when it became real, when the conversation turned to not if, but when, but like really, really soon. And that's where the emotional turbulence kicked in. And I was surprised. I didn't think the emotional turbulence was going to hit. Like on paper, the decision made perfect sense. It was sound, but emotionally, that was a different story. But I want to shift gears real quick to define what fear is so that we're all on the same playing field. And somebody helped me reshape the framework of what fear is. And that's false evidence appearing real. So I want you to say that with me. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Most of the time, fear isn't real present danger. It's an imagined outcome that we treat as if it's already happening. So here's a really good example. I live in New England, right? So there are bears that kind of roam around where I live in the late fall and early spring and summertime. And sometimes when I want to go take out the trash at night and walk into the trash can outside and put it in my bear safe trash can, it's dark. There's either a low light or no light. And I don't bring a flashlight with me. Why? Because why? Why? I don't like flashlights. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my time in the service. I don't know. I just don't use a flashlight. I don't want to go out there. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine and comfortable in the dark. I'll be fine. So let's say one night I go out there and I take out the trash. I go to the bin and there is a black bear standing right next to my trash can. My eyes are going to get big. My pupils are going to dilate. My hands may get sweaty. My blood pressure is going to kick in. My adrenaline's going to kick in. My heart rate's going to start beating faster. I'm going to feel this fight or flight technique take over. There is a real present danger that bear might try to scare me off to get to the trash because that's what the bear wants. Now let's take the same scenario. On the other hand, Let's say I am thinking about taking out the trash at night, but I don't take it out yet. And I think, well, it's dark, there's low light, no light. Maybe there might be a bear out there, and maybe this bear will try to hurt me. And I start thinking about all the things that this bear could do and that there's a bear there. My pupils are going to dilate, my adrenaline system's going to kick in, my heart rate's going to increase, my palms may get sweaty, and I'm going to feel the exact same way as if it's actually right there in front of me, as if I'm actually going through the previous real present danger scenario. But here's the thing. There is no present danger. I haven't even left the house. I haven't even gone out to the trash can to find that there's no bear there. It's all up in my mind. And so we engineer everything in our head, but our body has reacted the same way. So many times when we talk about fear, it is this false evidence appearing real, and it's a very visible and physical reaction on our bodies. Now, hear me out. When the retirement started creeping into my head and all these negative thoughts, nothing catastrophic had actually occurred. No accounts were drained. No one said you're irrelevant to me, but my mind started instantly projecting my fears and my insecurities, right? Like, what if I lose a sense of relevance? How am I going to relate to folks? What if the income isn't going to be enough and I have to scramble and find a career or a job that I really don't want to do? What if the next chapter of my life is like a catastrophic failure? What if one day I wake up and I regret, the decision to take off the uniform and pursue something else different that I have a passion for? And these thoughts didn't happen at once. Like it came in like a cycle. It came, when I wasn't busy and I wasn't doing anything, and they started a slow whisper in the back of my mind. But the kicker is none of it actually happened. Not a single thing actually happened to me. It was just my mind making up stuff and fear creeping in. Yet my body acted like it was unfolding right then and there. My heart was racing, my sleep went down. I could feel my energy being drained. I have an app where I track my stress levels along with everything else and my resiliency levels to be able to counteract those things and my sleep. And it was a very visible decline in sleep, increase in overall stress on my body, and decline in resiliency. Like you could see like the stress going up or the resiliency going down. And it was like, what is going on? And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It's because I'm allowing fear to creep in. And that is false evidence appearing real. Your brain shows you a horror movie trailer in your head of all of these things to convince you that your future is going to be catastrophic, that what's going to happen to you that hasn't happened yet has already happened and is horrible. And you're going to have all these negative things. And so that's why I say fear is a gateway drug to anxiety. And this is the meat of the potatoes of this episode. So bear with me, I'm getting to it. Anxiety is a negative emotional state that propels all your energy towards imagined worst case scenarios. Anxiety's only job is to keep you stuck and unproductive and to achieve those desired unproductive and unwanted outcomes. It consumes everything. Your mental bandwidth, looping the same what ifs over and over and over again. The physical energy, you're going to be exhausted. You can't rest because your body is going through that internal stress. Your focus is going to be scattered. You're going to be, over here 1 second, then over here another second, and then you're not going to, be able to keep close focus. Now, if you have ADHD, you might want to check some other techniques out. We have a podcast for that, an episode for that. You might want to check it out. Your sleep is going to go from like top tier down to less and less and less. Then your creativity is going to be blocked because you're not going to be firing on all engines and cylinders that you're going to need to be to order to perform at your maximum potential. Anxiety will keep asking you, what if this goes wrong? What if I lose everything? What if this all falls apart? What if the worst imagined case scenario actually comes true? But here's something that you may not have thought about. Anxiety requires your imagination. You have the picture disaster vividly going through your mind that grips you. We have a whole lot of imaginative people in this world and they don't even know it. And I could be one of those people at times. The exact opposite of anxiety is anticipation. Anticipation also requires imagination, but pointed in the opposite direction. It asks, what if this works? What if this grows? What if the next big chapter in life is better than the last one? What if the next breakthrough is is that we've been building towards is going to be better than I can even think about. Both use the exact same mental muscle, your imagination. One drains you, the other multiplies your energy. One rehearses disaster, the other rehearses possible opportunities. Your mind will imagine a future for you one way or another. The only question is whether you let it run disaster drills or opportunity rehearsals. I'll say it a little bit more bluntly. You don't get to turn off your imagination. You only get to choose the direction that you want to have imagination going. And that choice determines your energy, your momentum, and ultimately your experience in life at key and pivotal points. Now, I know that's a lot, but let me walk you through some of the stages that I went through, because if you're in it, you'll probably recognize them. The first stage is planting the seed of fear. It started when retirement became real. The paperwork conversations, running the financial numbers, talking about the future with the family. Then that's when the switch flipped from abstract, like this thing in the future that could happen, to being a real thing. Then there was this identity shock. Who am I? What do I want to do? What will the family support? What does the family want to do? And that kind of hit me hard because for years, the family necessarily didn't get a vote. And I want to make sure they have a vote. And I was comfortable for many years with the known and predictability of the unpredictable military life, solving problems and leading folks. And suddenly that was ending, which then took me to stage 3, the catastrophic projection phase. This is where my anxiety spiked. My mind started playing worst case scenarios over and over on repeat. Income collapses and I'm scraping by. Those thoughts started creeping in. I'm going to fade into irrelevance and no one's going to call and no one's going to, seek my advice anymore. I started, the thought of starting at the bottom and starting over on something and then it failing and not working out. And then people looking at me like, oh, he couldn't hack the next phase. Like he's not going to be able to do that. And the truth was none of it was happening, but it felt vivid and emotionally real. And that's where stage 4 comes in. That is your emotional energy drain. And then these symptoms showed up, right? I started overthinking every decision. I was in constant fatigue even after sleeping. I was irritable with people that I loved the most, second guessing everything I was doing. I had emotional swings from highs to lows, like this could be good, to, complete burnout. And then I even started flipping like, well, this is what I want to do, to back to no, I need to do the safer thing. Going back to no, this is what I need to do. Going, no, I need to go to the safer thing. And then back and forth and back and forth. And it was so exhausting. And anxiety robs you of energy because it forces your brain to solve problems that don't exist yet and probably will never happen. And you're burning calories and fighting ghosts that aren't even there. Which then took me to stage 5, the pivot. This was the real turning point. I started asking, what are the actual facts here? Am I financially ready? Check the statements, check the box. Yep, good to go. Are my skills transferable? Absolutely. Been doing it for decades. It's going to be for decades to come. Do I have a network? Yes, I have a strong network of people who are willing to help. What is my track record? Really good. I can do a lot of things, and I'm resilient through a lot of adverse times. I can handle it. And have I bounced back before after, something negative happened? Every single time. I have survived 100% of my worst days. I'm here. So it's only going to be another 100% of surviving my worst days until I'm no longer here, which is a pretty good, awesome way to think about it. If you think about it, that's how I do it. Facts quiet the fiction. They don't eliminate the fear. They shrink it down to size. Now, let me tell you this. The enemy doesn't have to make you completely stumble and fall to do his job. All he has to do is make you doubt what you're capable of and what you're called to do. That's it. He doesn't have to do anything else other than make you doubt, allow fear to creep in, to keep you stuck in anxiety so you're solving problems that don't exist. This is how I turn anxiety into anticipation. Here's how to make that pivot repeatable. Use this framework anytime fear or anxiety starts to creep in, whatever it is. First, pull from real examples in your life, or you can pull from mine. Think of a time you took a risk and it didn't work out. Lost money, you got embarrassed, you felt a sting, whatever it was. Now facing something new, your brain gets to grab on to the memory that says, see, this thing happened in the past, is going to happen again, whether it's negative or positive. If you focus on the negative thing, that's anxiety powered by a negative memory or a past perceived negative outcome, right? So, to rephrase that a little bit, let's think about a time that you moved and you got a job offer, you moved, and the whole move was horrible and everything fell apart. Your stuff broke, your family had kids got sick in the car, your dog got sick in the car, whatever it is, it was a horrible experience. And so now you got a new job offer. Your mind is going to pull from a past previous experience or a past perceived experience that's negative and say, see, this thing happened on this time. So it's going to happen on this date and time again in the future. See, you better prepare yourself. This thing is going to happen. Where you can learn some things from failure and negative outcomes, but it doesn't mean that that exact event and that exact experience is going to happen again. But if you feed that negative thought, then you're going to think, man, okay, yeah, that's going to happen again. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. You're going to start solving problems that aren't even there. It's going to be too much for you. So you got to think, okay, how can I flip this? Remember a time that you did get a job offer and you did move and it went well and it went great and everything flourished during it. And you can say, you see, that thing happened. It can happen again in the future. But your mind is not automatically going to latch on to the positive part. It's going to latch on to the negative part. So you got to find the positive part to latch on to then further propel you into the future for the positive outcome of that. And so when you do that, you can help navigate uncertainty and come out stronger. When you're doing that, you're telling your brain, okay, I see the positive thing. Now your brain pulls from the evidence of I've handled this before. It's going to fuel the anticipation, which is the energy and momentum of forward motion. You're going to be like, I can do these things to set myself up for success. So let me do it. It's the same imagination, just different reference points. So here are the 4 steps broken down. The first thing we need to do is identify the story playing in our head. What is the worst case scenario playing over and over again, and name it. The second thing we need to do is we need to ask, is this fact or fear? What real evidence points to the outcome? What contradicts it? And be brutally honest. The third thing we need to do is we need to pull from positive evidence. List your wins, growth moments, times that you overcome anxiety and adversity in the past, skills you've built since the last time that you encountered something in the past, and your past resilience track record. Make your brain look for real receipts, not other imagined trailers. The fourth thing we need to do is ask better what if questions. Replace what if this fails with what if this works? What if this grows? What if this unlocks something greater? You're not denying risk, you're balancing the perspective. Now, anxiety rehearses disaster, anticipation rehearses opportunity. Both require imagination. You get to choose which rehearsals you want to attend. I don't know about you, but for me, I only want to attend the positive impact rehearsals. I only want to imagine the best possible outcome for my life instead of the worst possible outcome for my life. And if you say, well, Tim, this is too hard to do, I can't do it. You don't know what my life is like. You don't know what my past is like. I'm here to tell you this. You don't know what your future is like. You don't know what your future holds for you. So instead of anticipating and imagining the worst possible thing, anticipate the best possible outcome and plan for that. If you're going to solve a problem, solve a good problem that has the best outcome for you. So as I go through this transition, my crossroad moments with my retirement/career shift, I didn't eliminate fear. I had to redirect my imagination. I turned what if I lose everything into what if this next level of impact is the thing that I've been praying for. And that shifted and changed my energy. I made space for excitement instead of dread. So here's the takeaway from today's episode. Fear is false evidence appearing real, but faith or anticipation is forward evidence appearing possible. Every major decision in life will test your emotional discipline. The question is, will you let fear write your future for you? You've got the framework. Now let's put it together and use it. Rehearse possibilities. Your next chapter is waiting for you, and it's going to be amazing. So if this hits home for you, share it with somebody who is staring their own transition in life, so who are at their own crossroads in life, are struggling with anticipation versus anxiety. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I appreciate you for stopping by. I'm expecting great things for you in the near future and looking forward to you sharing them in the comments.